I don't care what one thinks about me or what judgments you want to make about what happened in the privacy of my own home and my marriage behind closed doors.
Hey, welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Reactions here on Free Thinking the Culture podcast. My name is Noir. I am your host. So, before we get right into it, I ask that you comment, like, and subscribe on this content. It helps the channel grow organically. And without hesitation, we're going to break down this part one of the Amber Heard interview, okay? So, let's get into it.
It's been about more than a week since the verdict. As you sit here with me now, has it sunk in?
Hell no. Look at her. Like she getting ready for a scene.
How could it? Surreal and difficult. In part, yes. This has been a long time coming.
Do you
It's been
stand
years,
by
literally.
your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse?
Of course, to my dying day, will stand by every word of my testimony.
Let me tell you something. Those are going to be some infamous words, ma'am. To my dying day, Amber Heard, you are going to die up on that hill alone, baby. Do not do that to yourself, but I just know you going to do it. Somebody go talk to Amber real quick. Look, I'm talking to the ghost in the corner. Go tap on Amber's shoulder real quick and tell her that she about to die up on that hill. Go help out real quick. Let me continue.
The real-life drama of the defamation case between Amber Heard and her ex-husband Johnny Depp captivated
Crazy.
millions of people around the world.
Amber Heard just got exposed.
Johnny, you hit me.
This is so cringe.
Not that reaction.
With clips spreading across social media like wildfire.
It did.
I think vast majority of this trial was played out on social media. I think that this
You brought it to
trial
social media.
is an example of that gone haywire, gone amok. And the jury is not immune to that.
You think the jury saw it?
How could they not? I think even the most well-intentioned juror, it would have been impossible to avoid this.
People
Really quick, I'm gonna try not to stop it too often, but Amber Heard lacks a serious account of accountability. When it came out that TMZ was basically kind of alluding to the fact that Amber was releasing stuff, I knew then it was over for Amber. But the fact that she's sitting here acting like it's a big problem now, it's only a big problem now because it didn't work out in her favor. That's why. Because when everybody was justice for Amber Heard or anything like that, Amber had nothing to say. But now all of a sudden, it shouldn't have been in the media, but okay.
online and crowds outside the courthouse made it clear where they stood.
Every single day I passed for 3, 4, sometimes 6 blocks, city blocks lined with people holding
Yeah.
signs
That's what
saying
happens,
burn the
yeah.
witch, death to Amber. After 3.5 weeks, I took the stand and saw just a courtroom packed full of Captain Jack Sparrow fans who were vocal,
There you go.
energized.
Can you put
She's
into
still
words
pissed off about Johnny being more
how
popular.
that felt?
This was the most humiliating and horrible thing I've ever been through. I have never
Yeah.
felt more removed from my own humanity. I felt less than human.
Let's go back.
So how did you think that Johnny Depp felt when you released that op-ed claiming that it wasn't about him when really you just admitted in court that it was basically about him? What did you think that, how do you think he felt? When all the feminist groups and everybody was going against Johnny Depp, when his deals were getting canceled and all of those things, what did you think was going through his head? Possibly the same thing that was going through your head right now, correct? Okay.
To the day of the verdict. Were you feeling confident?
Amber, just
It's
answer
a
the
great
question.
question.
Yeah, that's why she asked it.
I wish I could say yes to that.
But you be lying, right?
I want to say yes to you, but it wouldn't be true. Even if you think that I'm lying,
I'm calling it before she even said it. She knew it was gonna be a lie. That's why she can't say it. She's scared that she gonna get caught up in something else.
you still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation.
Amber Heard, I'm looking to my eyes. I believe there was a fair representation on social media, because when it first came out with Johnny Depp, people were doing the exact same thing to him that they're doing to you right now. It's a very fair representation. Look into my eyes, Amber. It's very fair. The hell?
Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes.
After the 6-week trial, the jury found Heard defamed Depp in a 2018 Washington Post op-ed in which she wrote she was a public figure representing domestic abuse. She never mentioned her ex-husband by name.
She didn't have
Depp
to.
denied the abuse allegations in court. Heard won just one of 3 claims in her countersuit against her ex-husband. That verdict came less than 2 years after a judge ruled against Depp in a similar case in the UK, in which he sued a British newspaper that called him a wife beater.
There was another trial, handled it dealt with the same substantive issues that had even more evidence in. In fact, my evidence was largely kept out. Really
Amber, do not look at me in my eyes, Amber. Do not sit up here and play this game with people. You know that evidence in the UK, a lot of that shouldn't have even been allowed. The UK court system and the United States court system is completely different. Completely different ball fields. You are playing a very dangerous game, man. But okay.
important pieces of evidence kept out. Done differently, handled differently by a judge instead of a jury.
Some evidence is admissible in a UK court that is not admissible in a US
There we
court.
go, yes.
Do you think that maybe he just had better lawyers?
Yes.
I will say his lawyer.
Amber, I'm sorry to interrupt. The short answer to that is yes. She had phenomenal lawyers. So please, Amber Heard's lawyers compared to Johnny Depp lawyers was trash. Stop.
Lawyers did certainly a better job of distracting the jury from the real issues.
For some people, they just were frankly disgusted by the whole thing and don't have much sympathy for either one of you. Can you understand that?
Absolutely. I would not blame the average person for looking at this and how it's been covered and not think that it is Hollywood brats at their worst. But what people don't understand is
Don't do that.
It's actually so much bigger than that. This is not only about our First Amendment right to speak.
But here's the thing about the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects free speech. It doesn't protect lies that amount to defamation. And
Basically, the freedom of speech does not protect you from the freedom of consequences. So Amber feels like she should be able to just say whatever she wants and she can get away with it. That's not how America works. Freedom of speech does not exclude you from the freedom of consequences. Learn from it, Amber, and move on. Take accountability, but you refuse.
that was the issue in
It's
the
like pulling
case.
teeth with,
Yes,
with
exactly.
a toddler or something,
You can't
right?
go into the free speech does not protect you if you go into a crowded theater and you scream fire. We get the concept of free speech from the Greeks. My understanding of
Do
what
we?
that
Is
means
that where that came
is
from?
not just the freedom to speak. It's a freedom to speak truth to power.
But truth, though.
The truth is the word.
Oh.
Yes.
And that was the issue.
And that's all I spoke.
Me and
And I spoke it to
the interviewer, we here. Me and the interviewer, I see you. You see me. We see each other. We see this.
power, and I paid the price.
In the closing arguments, the Depp lawyer called your testimony the performance of a lifetime and said you were acting. What do you say to that?
Says the lawyer for the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers.
Oh, Amber Heard. I'm currently recording this at 3:34 in the morning right now. This is how long my day has been going. But I know if I could yell right now, I would. Amber Heard, I know you did not reference Edward Scissorhands on this interview. Amber Heard, nobody in America thought Edward Scissorhands was a real thing. That is his job as an actor. If you were a real one, then you would know that that is your job. You're supposed to sit up and you're supposed to convey a character so realistic it almost blurs the line. The only people that believe that were children who don't know the concept of movies and reality. You're not finna sit up here and play in America's face like this again. Good God.
I'm the performer, I had listened to weeks of testimony
I can't believe this.
insinuating that,
This
or
girl
saying
crazy as
quite
hell.
directly that, I'm a terrible actress.
You are.
So I'm a bit confused how I could be both.
The DEP
Oh, you
team
could be
argued
both.
that you were the abuser, that you instigated physical violence. Did you?
Yes.
I never had to instigate it. I responded to it. When you're living in violence and it becomes
This girl refuses
normal, as
accountability
I
at every
testified
cost.
to, you have to adapt.
You say you were responding, but there is evidence. There are
Right.
tapes in which you acknowledge hitting. There are tapes in which you say, I started the fight.
Right.
I know much has been made of these audio tapes. They were first leaked on.
Amber, you not finna sit up here and look me in my face on this interview and tell me that the audio tapes was chopped, screwed, and remixed, and that everybody else lying on you. Amber, it can't be everybody else. I'm getting a headache. Maybe the headphones too tight. I don't know. But Amber, please, Amber, spare me. Oh my God.
Line after being edited. What you would hear in those clips are not evidence of what was happening. It was evidence of a negotiation of how to talk about that with your abuser.
But I am looking at a transcript that says,
Read it.
He says, you start physical fights, and you say, I did start a physical fight. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. I mean, this is in black and white. I understand context. But you're testifying and you're telling me today, I never started a physical fight, and here you are on tape saying you did.
What you
I
saying about that?
testified on the stand about this, is that when your life is at risk, not only will you take the blame for things that you shouldn't take the blame for, but when you're in an abusive dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, you don't have the resources that, say, you or I do with the luxury of saying, hey, this is black and white, because it's anything but when you're living in it.
But then there are other times, there's another tape where you're taunting.
You are very good with words. I give you that, Amber Heard. You're very, very good with words. We're trying to make people feel like they don't know what they're talking about. If it's on a transcript, Amber, is literally in black and white. These are your words transcribed on a piece of paper in black ink, on a white piece of paper, literally black and white. I know you're trying to work around that and trying to act like it's just different excerpts from out of the blue. Those are your words, Amber.
Him and saying, oh, tell the world, Johnny Depp, I, a man, am a victim of domestic violence.
20-second clips or the transcripts of them
Why you didn't answer that? Okay.
are not representative of even the 2 hours or the 3 hours that those clips are excerpt from.
Could
Why you
your
didn't-
side have just put the whole 3 hours in then?
I'm not a lawyer. As I testified to, I was.
Amber, you have lawyers for this. Why you didn't give all that to Elaine if that's the case? Because you knew a lot of that wasn't admissible. But you go keep on with it. Okay.
Talking in those recordings as a person, an extreme amount of emotional, psychological, and physical distress.
He
And
says
it
he
doesn't-
never hit you.
He can't-
Never. Is
yeah.
that a lie?
Yes, it is.
What about the witnesses who said they have seen you instigate physical violence?
I've seen firsthand how people will file rank and support the person they depend on.
Did they all come in and lie in court?
I am not here to call any of his witnesses any names. I'm here to.
Because Amber, you can. This is the thing. You can't sit up and just flat out call them people lies, Amber, because them people probably came with proof. You dare not say that on this camera because they are gonna pull your footage again. You being very careful with your words. I'm pretty sure Elaine and them schooled you. Do not get up here and start talking crazy, Amber, and get yourself in another court case. Don't do that to yourself.
just kind of talk about it from what it felt like for me as the person who
So
sat there.
this is
When I
from
asked
the
his
regulation in
lawyers,
her head.
why do you
She don't
think he
care.
won? And the answer I got was because she never took responsibility for anything she did
Facts.
in the marriage.
Facts.
I did do and say horrible, regrettable things throughout my relationship. I behaved in horrible, almost unrecognizable to myself ways.
You did.
I have so much regret.
I agree.
Freely and openly and voluntarily talked about what I did. I talked about the horrible language. I talked about being pushed to the extent where I didn't even know the difference between, right and wrong.
Haha. Pause. I didn't know the difference between right and wrong. Amber, you a grown ass woman. At your big age, you know the right and wrong. You know the difference. You choose not to know the difference. You choose to pretend like you don't know the difference. But see, everything was cool until you was caught on camera. On recording. It was cool because you thought you had the upper hand as long as nobody recorded you. Just to hold yourself accountable, Amber. That's all the people want, but you're not gonna do this.
I will always continue to feel like I was a part of this, like I was the other half of this relationship, because I was. And it was ugly.
Yeah.
And could be very beautiful. It was very, very toxic.
She has a very clever way of romanticizing DV. She has a very clever way of making you feel like you're in like some fairy tale type story, even though it was very dangerous, even though people were being hurt. Somebody almost was disfigured because he probably could have lost the tip of that finger if it had not been rescued in time. You have a very clever way of making the people feel like it was this whirlwind romance that just happened to have a little hiccup. This is way deeper than that, Amber. Way deeper.
We were awful to each other.
Yeah.
I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
A lot of mistakes. But I've always told the truth.
Hurt's lawyers say they plan to appeal that verdict. And as for the notion from Hurt that there was evidence allowed in that UK trial that could have potentially made a difference last week, Depp's attorney said here on Today that the evidence presented in the latest trial far exceeded the UK one, 2 different processes, and they believe the jury got it right.
And you know what? I'm going to have to agree with that. The jury absolutely got that correct. Here's the thing. You had nothing to say about it when you won in the UK. You felt you had every right to what you were awarded over there. And when it got to the US, you thought it was going to go back in your favor yet again. Again, this is part 1 of a 3-part series interview. Today, as of today, part 2 is going to drop. So I'm going to drop part 1 and I'm going to turn around and drop part 2 as of today. And I believe part 3, the final finale of the interview, drops on Friday. So please stay tuned for another reaction. And please, in the comments, let me know what you guys think. I'm very interested to understand if you believe Amber Heard. Do you sympathize with Amber Heard at all? Do you feel like Amber Heard is, do an appeal process to where she could possibly come out a little bit better from this? Do you think Johnny Depp should relieve her from that? I don't, because she would never learn anything in that way. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I thank you for watching, and come back and visit me for part 2. I truly appreciate you guys stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.